Do you guys want to sit and work on a project with me while we talk about some music? Friends! Hello! Welcome back to Amethyst Craftworks. I'm Samantha. And yes, I am filming more videos back to back this week. Not because I'm particularly busy this week, although I have had a busy time recently, but because I was honestly so excited to record this video that I just was like, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it today. So, Miss Bella from Bella's Crochet Gifts, hey girl, tagged me in a video where she went over 20 songs from her current playlist. And so I was like, ooh, that's a fun idea. And so I thought we would chit chat today about some music and have a good time while I work on my current whip. Now, this is the beginnings to a hexagon cardigan that I talked about in a Hirschner's haul, which I'll link up here in case you missed it. This is the worsted 8 Halloween sparkle yarn from Hirschner's, and I was not kidding you guys. I was itching to dive into these, and I thought that cardigan was such a good idea, doing this colorway on one side and then the other colorway on the other side, and having like a fun and funky Halloween cardigan that I couldn't help myself. I had to. And so this is the beginnings to it folded. I've been working on this for about a week now or so, since that video came out pretty much. And I'm to the point now where the sleeves, I have this all worked out here, hold on. The sleeves are the size that I want them to be. They're the length that I want them to be before I start sort of tapering it in and making a cuff and so on. And so I'm currently working on just a couple sides where here we go. I'm working on just a couple of sides to make the bottom and the middle a bit longer, a bit wider without lengthening the sleeve, right? Because I don't want, on this particular sweater, I don't want like super long sleeves that I have a hard time wrangling. And so I thought, since that's what I'm working on, you might want to grab a project and sit here and chit chat with me while I go over 20 random songs from my current playlist. And crochet along with me, have a good chat, have a sit down. A different kind of Friday Fun Day video, but a Friday Fun Day nonetheless. I'm also using a K 6. Oh, it's never going to show up. A K 6.5 furls hook. This happens to be the cookies and cream hook. It goes beautifully with my project. And we're going to talk about some music. Now, as far as I could tell, in Bella's video, there really was no instructions on what these 20 songs are supposed to be. And so I took my usual favorites playlist and just shuffled it and wrote down the first 20 songs that it picked. And I will say, my playlist, my usual go-to playlist, it's on YouTube. I made it on YouTube. It doesn't really change. I don't really add new songs to it, except for there are exceptions there. But once I have kind of curated my favorites in a playlist, That's just what I go to, and I listen over and over and over and over. And so a lot of these songs have not changed, have not, like, new ones haven't been added, except again for that one exception, which we will talk about. But like, I don't update it frequently. Once I'm like, chef's kiss, this is my taste, this is the music that I like, I just listen to it on shuffle until my ears bleed, right? So they're not like, I'm not going to be introducing you here to any new music, I don't think. But I am going to talk about, while I sit here and crochet in my lap, some music that I love, that I am nostalgic over, that holds a special place in my heart, so on and so forth. And so if you're down to listen to me chit chat your ears off about some music, then, yeah. Grab a project, maybe grab yourself a drink, and let's get into it. So, first, I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone. In fact, I don't think a lot of my music choices here are going to be a surprise to anyone. But number one, I've got a list over here off to the side, the first 20 songs that my playlist kind of shuffled at me. And number one is very fitting, as it is Black Number One by Typo Negative. This is not only, I think, one of my favorite Typo songs, but it is my absolute favorite from seeing them live. I was lucky enough to see them before gorgeous, beautiful, incredibly talented Pete passed away. I got to see them a few times, and Black Number One is, without a doubt, my favorite song that they played live. It was phenomenal. Like, if you want to talk about a crowd getting hyped, the crowd at a Typo concert when Black Number One comes on is like nothing else. Same with, in a similar fashion, is Soul on Fire, number two, Soul on Fire from him, by him. That as well, I think I got to see him before the band broke up. I got to see them live a couple of times too. Soul on Fire, like, incredible song, really hype song. And if you want to talk about a crowd losing their minds, also as well, the concert that I went to in April when I saw Valo, the lead singer of him, doing his solo stuff, he performed Soul on Fire, and when I say I lost my mind, baby, I lost my mind. It was so good. Like, hands down, one of the best songs to hear live. It just gets you so hyped up, I tell you what. And then, number three was Sour Girl by Stone Temple Pilots. You know, a lot of my music taste bands unfortunately have had members that have passed away, and Stone Temple Pilots is one of them too. Gosh, Scott Weiland, man. What a voice. He had such a good voice. And Sour Girl, the video for Sour Girl had a certain Miss Sarah Michelle Gellar in it. And it came out right at like the height of my original Buffy the Vampire Slayer obsession, when I was like actively watching the show every week and it was airing and so on and so forth. And so Sour Girl, I was like, oh my god, one of my favorite bands and one of my favorite people in the entire world in a music video together was unreal. And it's such a good song. Although my playlist is dotted with Stone Temple Pilots anyway, because they were such a big part of like my younger like teen years, for sure. And then number four, another one of my favorite bands, Incubus, the song Are You In? I think Are You In is my favorite Incubus song and has been since pretty much since I discovered them. They are like one of my favorite bands as well. I wear their merch all the time. I've gone to a couple of concerts. The last concert that I went to before the plague was Incubus. They put on such a good show. Brandon Boyd is such a gloriously handsome fellow. And he has only gotten more handsome as time has gone on. That long, beautiful, long graying hair. Oh my God, be still my heart. I am a lady of a certain age now that gray hair is no longer a, ooh, he's old. It's a, ooh, ooh, he's very handsome, right? So it's not solely because Brandon Boyd is a gorgeous human being, but it certainly helps, right? So, Are You In is number 4. Then number 5, which honest to God is like, I feel like this is like my summertime anthem, is Living Dead Girl by Rob Zombie. I feel like he wrote that song with me in mind. Right? It is such a good song. Same with Dragula. Like, a lot of these songs, even if the band, like the shuffle pulled up one song from a band or a singer or whatever, like, there's so many more other of their songs in my playlist, and Dragula is also another one of my favorites. But yeah, Living Dead Girl. Instead of having Hot Girl Summer, maybe we have Living Dead Girl Summer, right? Like, you know, oh, it's such a good song. And then number 6 popped up, Brain Stew by Green Day. Now, back when I was a wee little punk, a wee little Samantha, I grew into the sort of goth side of music. But I started in like pop punk kind of emo, that sort of genre of music. And Green Day, their album with Brain Stew is one of the first ones that I bought for myself when I was but a wee teen. I bought on cassette. On cassette. I bought Green Day, and then I also bought Everclear. Everclear? Was it Everclear with Father of Mine? Father of Mine. Tell me, where have you been? That I'll correct myself over here somewhere if it's not Everclear. I'm almost positive it's Everclear. Anyway, I bought those 2 albums on cassette, and to this day, Brain Stew is one of my favorite songs. I love it. One of my favorite Green Day songs, like really old school Green Day. Super good. And then number 7. So I will say, I realize that this next artist is very much controversial. I'm not going to say anything about the horrific thing, like the wretched things that a certain Mr. Marilyn Manson has been accused of, and, but his music was such a huge part of my teen life that I can't not mention him. I don't even know if it's smart or if it's the way you should deal with things, in that, like, separating the art from the artist. You love their music, but you don't love the musician, that kind of thing. Because I don't love what has happened with him in the last several years. But Marilyn Manson was my first concert when I was young, when I was a teenager. A boy in my high school took me to see Marilyn Manson, and it was during Marilyn Manson's Mechanical Animals album release, his tour for that album. And that album is my favorite album of his of all time. And the song, did I mention the song? Number 7 is Fundamentally Loathsome by Marilyn Manson. That is my favorite song on that album. It is so moody, and I love the lyrics, and like I will sit and just sing my off-key heart out with that song. I love that album so much. It was such a big part of my, like, growing up. The way that I developed as a human being even was, like, inspired and, you know, based on the music that I was listening to. And that, man, I think I had that album on CD. I think we had come to the CD era by then, and I played it out. Like, dope show. Oh man. I love that album, but Fundamentally Loathsome is absolutely my favorite song from that album. And then number 8. I don't know if this is a surprise. It might be a surprise. Or it might be like, oh, this makes perfect sense. But The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. I love Fleetwood Mac. I love Stevie Nicks. She has goals. Like, I cannot even tell you our goals. Like, she's so beautiful. And, like, Fleetwood Mac, not only do I love their music, but it reminds me of my mom. My mom went through, like, a period of her life where she listened to Fleetwood Mac and Bob Seger, like, all the time. And at the time, you know, you're like, oh, mom's music? My mom's music? Come on, I hate Fleetwood Mac and Bob Seger. And now that I am, again, a lady of a certain age, I'm like, Fleetwood Mac's got some bangers, right? Like the last several years. And yeah, I think The Chain is probably one of my most played Fleetwood Mac songs. I think so. And then number 9 came up, Typo Negative again. Now, I don't know if this is allowed here. I mentioned one band twice, but if I'm going to mention one band twice, it's going to be Typo Negative. So the other song that came up for, what did I say, number 9, was Who Will Save the Sane, which is also one of my favorite songs. It's because of this song, even, that I know pi to several decimal points, right? 3.141592653, right? Pi. It's because of that song. I love it. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I love all of the songs in my playlist. So I love all of the songs that it shuffled at me. But I think one of my favorite Typo songs is Who Will Save the Sane. It's such a good one. And it's such a, like, that opening, like that riff, it's so good. It's fabulous. And, you know, I can link you to all these songs as well. I will link you to them in the description. In case you're curious, check out number 9, okay? And then, let's see, number 10, we are halfway through, was Push It by Garbage. This was like, was it 90s, mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s? Like, that sort of, like, grungy pop rock music. This one is hands down one of my favorites from that era. I played this song out. I loved it. There was it has been so long since I've listened to actual radio that I don't know if it still exists, but in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, there was a radio station called The X, 105.9 The X. They played all the alternative music, the rock music, the, like, punk music, the goth music, the rock out music, you know. And I would just sit and listen to it for hours and hours and hours after school when I was supposed to be doing my homework. Instead, I'm just like jamming out in my bedroom, right? And I used to get so excited when this song would come on the radio because, man, one of my favorites. It's very nostalgic. My playlist is for sure driven by nostalgia, like 100%. And then number 11. This was the exception that I was talking about. So, again, I mentioned earlier a concert that I went to earlier in the year in April, which was the lead singer from a band called him, Valo. He's doing some solo stuff, and one of his new songs, really his whole new album, Neo Noir, so good. That show was incredible. And I think my favorite song, it's a tie. It's a toss-up between number 11, which was Echolocate Your Love, and also maybe Neon Noir. It's a toss-up. But Echolocate Your Love came on my shuffle, and so that's number 11. That entire album is just so good. I love pretty much every song. There are songs that I love more than others, of course, but yeah, Echolocate Your Love is for sure one of them. And I also, excuse me, I also, when I first saw like the list of the names of his songs when the album came out, I immediately read Echolocate as E-Chocolate and was like, what on earth is E-Chocolate? And then realized very quickly, not E-Chocolate, it's Echolocate, dummy. Yeah, that was number 11. And then number 12 is Got the Life by Korn. Again, nostalgia, very much nostalgia. And also with number 13, which is Change by Deftones. Korn, Deftones, who else was Jay Gordon from Orgy. The songs that were in the movie soundtrack of Queen of the Damned that came out in the 2000s that had beautiful Aaliyah in it. May she also rest in peace. And Stuart Townsend and, you know, oh man, Lestat, like, beyond saying how accurate it is to the book, beyond saying how kind of goofy and corny it is, that movie has a banger of a soundtrack. I dare say it is even my favorite soundtrack to a movie. Every song that is in that movie soundtrack is 100% a winner. And because Korn, he wrote songs for Queen of the Damned, and then number 13 was also Deftones, which is in the movie itself. That is, oh man, it's a good movie. It's a bad good movie, but it's got just a killer soundtrack. And it also came out, I'm pretty sure, around one of my birthdays. My birthday is in February, and me and my girls, Bestie Lauren, Bestie Pums, we went and saw it. We skipped school and went and saw it because I'm pretty sure it was maybe my 17th birthday, my 18th birthday, something like that. So the movie itself holds a special place in my heart as well. But the soundtrack to it, and oh, yes, very good. Oh, and then 14 was also Orgy. So the song Stitches by Orgy. This album, that album by the band Orgy, it it is sort of embarrassing to say, but when that album came out, I had the cassette for it, and I was on a vacation with my family. So, like, aunt, uncle, cousin, grandma, mom, me. We're all on a family vacation. We went and stayed in like a cabin at like a little kind of lake, man-made lake resort type place. And I had this album, Stitches, the album that has Stitches by Orgy on it. And I had it in my cassette Walkman, and I just like walked around the like compound of this campground area with my headphones blasting, like emo to the core, like nobody gets me. I hate my family. Who wants to spend time with their family? Blah. Like emo walking around this like compound with this blasting in my head, and I would like wait till the song ended and then have to press rewind and go back and listen to it just on repeat. Absolutely on repeat. It's a good album. It's a good song. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure I ever even got past listening to Stitches. I was so obsessed with that song. But that's number 14. Then number 15 was Fell on Black Days by Soundgarden. Oh, Soundgarden. Another one that has some sad memories to it because of Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell, when he passed away, it affected me like more than I can even put into words. We don't know these musicians. Like Pete is like, I don't know them, but they are such a big part of your life that when they're gone, you feel it. I felt it. Like in my heart, I felt it. Like I had lost a family member. Like I had lost a friend. Like I knew someone, like I lost someone I knew. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And so Soundgarden and Audioslave, like Audioslave is unfortunately a band that was on my bucket list to see live, and I never did. I never did get the chance. So sad. But we did see the concert that was recorded, that Chris Cornell and Soundgarden did, it was like 3 hours long. It was incredible. We went and saw it in a movie theater. It was so good. Your girl cried kind of throughout it because it was after Chris passed away. And yeah, Fell on Black Days is such a good song. God, his voice was just absolutely incredible. Like, absolutely incredible, period. Point blank, period. Chris, rest in peace. And then number 16. Oh my God, my number 16 is Judith by A Perfect Circle. This entire album, this A Perfect Circle album, I think is one of the most incredible albums. And Judith specifically, I could listen to this song for days on end, just on repeat. However many millions of views this video has on YouTube, this music video, guaranteed I'm like 6 million of them. Like I love this song, and it is one of the songs that, like, one of those songs that I will sit and sing my heart, like, not even sing, I will sing, like, I will sing my heart out along with it. It is just so good. Yeah. Probably one of my most played songs on my playlist, like when I'm hunting songs, for sure. And then number 17 came up again, was Marilyn Manson. It is Killing Strangers. It is one of his newer songs. Was it a movie soundtrack? Something like that. I love this song. I'm so conflicted on how I feel about Marilyn Manson, because there the things that I have read about him are despicable. But his music has left such a big impact on me. I don't even know how to like reconcile both of these things in my head. So for now, I'll just say Killing Strangers also is just, it's a good song. I love it. And I still love him for his artistry, maybe, and we'll leave it at that. And then number 18, Closer by Nine Inch Nails. If you know, you know. This is like, I think this is probably on every goth playlist imaginable. It's gotta be, right? It's a good song. It is not necessarily my favorite Nine Inch Nails song, but it's still a good one. I mean, come on, right? It was so risque, like so, oh man, like ooh, what is that? You know, when I first heard it, it's good. It's a good song. The like underlying music to it is just, it's so good, right? And then number 19. This also speaks to my like emo pop punk days. It is I Caught Fire by The Used. The Used and Simple Plan. Gosh, who else? Mest, Good Charlotte, My Chemical Romance. Can I think of any others off the top of my head? AFI, like all those bands, right? Panic at the Disco. All of those like sort of emo pop punk, sort of emo punk bands. The Used was one of them. We went to Warp Tour, you know, when all of these bands were at the height of their popularity. And we were there specifically for Simple Plan because we loved Simple Plan, you know, Bestie Lauren and I. But The Used also performed there, and just, you know, it's a good song. It's also one of those, like, I'm gonna wail and sing my heart out songs, right? Regress back 25 years to my post or pre goth days, my like pop punk days for sure. And then number 20, it is a fitting song to end, is Getaway Car by Audioslave. Now, I did just talk a whole lot about Chris Cornell and Audioslave and Soundgarden. I think Getaway Car is my favorite Audioslave song. It is soulful, and just listening to Chris Cornell sing it is just, it makes me sad now. Just like, I mean, listening to any of these bands, really, Stone Temple Pilots and Type O, and even him that broke up, like, it makes me sad and happy all at the same time, right? Like, I'm sad for the loss of potential music and the loss of life and the loss of incredible creativity and talent, but I'm happy that we got to have them for as long as we did, because then you get songs like Getaway Car and Black Number One and Sour Girl and all, you know, all that to enjoy. And even if they're gone, the music they made lives on forever. And so it does, it's bittersweet listening to most of my favorite bands, because there's some part of it that's sad, but that's my list, right? That's my 20 songs from my playlist that it just decided to play for me on shuffle. And yeah, you know, we worked on a hexagon cardigan. It's kind of hard to tell. You can't really see what I have done here. But I would say it is this side is most of the way done. The yarn, I did say it was quite stiff in the skein. When you're working with it, it loosens up quite a bit. It also helps to use a kind of bigger hook. I don't know if necessarily 6.5 is as big as you should go. I could have probably gone with just a 6, excuse me. I could have just gone with just a 6 probably. But it does add a little bit of drapiness to it. And it does feel much softer worked up than it does in the skein, for sure. And so yeah, anyway, thank you for joining me for a very chatty, a very chit-chatty Friday Fun Day video. Talk about some music, talk about some nostalgia, some memories, and work, you know, a row and a half or so on my hexagon cardigan. The tag itself, the premise for this tag, I'm really not sure of. I will say, if you were watching this and you want to chat about 20 songs from your current playlist, feel free to do so. Consider yourself tagged. Bella tagged like everyone that I would have tagged, so I'm doing an open-ended one. If you want to tag, or you want to do the tag, if you want to talk about some music, maybe work on a project while you do so, have at it. You have my tag, you're it. You are good to go. You are good to do it. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for chilling out with me. Kind of a lazy sort of Friday Fun Day. No haul, no ridiculousness, just some crocheting and some music, which go so hand in hand together, like so good together, right? And so yeah, if you enjoyed, leave me a like, and please subscribe if you want more chit-chatting from me, because I'm very good at babbling your head off. And until I've got another video for you, take care. Goodbye.